So I'm going to ask you a great question. Are there any expired listings inside your marketplace? One of my favorite tools of all time has been developed by SQM Research, a guy by the name of Louis Christopher. And he's got some amazing things on free property data where you can ultimately go and click on total property listings. And when you get there, you can type in any postcode across Australia and it will actually tell you about the banding of all the properties that are currently in market today. So how many properties are 0 to 30, 30 to 60, 60 to 90, 90 to 180, and how many properties are on market over 180 days. And it'll also tell you about those listings, about how many are units, for example, and how many are actually houses. Now, this is some pretty incredible data because as a real estate coach, I can go to some pretty wild marketplaces in under 24 to 48 hours. So I can be in a situation that I'm working in one marketplace where everything's clearing and selling in like under 21 to 28 days. It's a very healthy market. Auction clearance rates are still quite good. We're in a position that ultimately we've still got buyers turning up at open for inspections. And we're in a position that ultimately we can get some great offers on properties to get them sold. But then I go to some other markets. And these other markets are pretty interesting because now I'm in a position that I've actually got properties that have been on the market for a long period of time. Now, if I'm thinking about what I'm doing to enter a market as a real estate agent, my skill is ultimately to identify where are the opportunities that are sitting there. Now, I have a look at some different markets and there's very different things that are happening across the country. Now, recently I was having a look at Daylesford in regional Victoria. Now, Daylesford is an incredible part of the world. It's beautiful wine country. It's a great little place for you to escape from the city of Melbourne in under an hour and a half or so. And you get the chance to be able to spend some time with some wine and some cheese and a hot spa. You get the idea. Now, the interesting thing was that literally Daylesford boomed like there was no tomorrow during the course of the COVID era. It was outside of the Ring of Steel. It was in a position that ultimately you could literally stretch your arms and you didn't have to worry too much about staying inside of your LGA. Also, in addition to that, it was a beautiful part. Lots of people made the idea that they were going to relocate there and work from home because they no longer had to work at the office. There was a huge boom in tourism and all of a sudden people couldn't go to other states or couldn't travel internationally. And naturally, the prices went up like there's no tomorrow. And then all of a sudden, a huge range of things have changed. Now people have to be back at the office. Now we're actually in a position that there's no Ring of Steel and we can actually go on holiday overseas or maybe go interstate. And in addition to that, the Victorian government brought in a very controversial land tax for COVID over the course of the next 10 years. All of a sudden you go into Daylesford and if you have a quick look at the data, what it will actually go to show you is that there's a large number of listings that are literally over 90 days on market and a huge number of those listings are actually over 180 days. What's also concerning is there's not as many new properties that are actually coming to market. Now, if you're working that marketplace, the reality of it is that literally prices are going to have to change because there's a different relationship between the capital and ultimately the experience. And this is where people are saying, hey, we're not leasing them out for as much as we could, and you get the idea. Now, this is amazing because if you come back into an inner city market like Sydney in Balmain, you're actually in a position that you're seeing the majority of those properties are actually selling in under 30 days. And there's very few homes that are actually over 30 days on market. Now, if I'm an agent and I'm working in Daylesford, I definitely know that I'm going after expired listings. I'm having a conversation around what I'm doing around price reductions, better quality buyer work, getting better quality marketing, and really understanding which owners have got true motivation to actually sell. If I'm working in Balmain, there's no way that I can work expired listings because there just simply aren't any. So if you know what's actually happening in your market, then you can go and have those conversations. Now, the best way ultimately to go to work with any expired listings are the ones that you actually missed out on at the listing presentation itself. And respectfully, once you know that an exclusive authority period is over, usually 90 days, then you may be in that conversation with that seller to say, hey, if you were open to having a conversation and you were outside of an exclusive authority period, then we would be more than thrilled to have that conversation with you to see if we might be able to go and assist. Now, ultimately, what we know is that what great agents do is that even if they lose the listing, they still want to retain the right to be able to go and work with that particular client, particularly from a buying side, to assist them in the purchase of their next home. You naturally continue to do that, and when the day comes and they make the decision to change agency, then you're actually in a position that you can pick up that expired listing. What a lot of real estate agents don't think about is that you need an expired listings marketing package. And you might realize that some of the portals in Australia are in a position that they will offer up to a 50% discount for a property to be relisted if it was already listed in the course of the last 6 months. And this is what you've got to do to go and build the trust with those particular sellers that have been burnt by a poor experience. And that might mean very simple things about getting a couple of buyers for the property, getting an offer on the property before you actually go to resell the marketing campaign, so that naturally you can go and build that level of rapport, build that level of trust, so then they'll actually accept your advice on what they need to do. So know your markets, know what the expireds are, chase them like there's no tomorrow once they get out of those exclusive authority periods. They're real sellers, they want to be sold, and they just need someone who actually understands their situation and what to do to present that property in order to be able to maximize its sale price and get it to sold.